Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline, and today I'm going to talk about birds attacking large animals, including humans. Now, when I first heard about this, I thought it was rather interesting and somewhat amusing, but now I'm starting to think it's a little bit more serious than that. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I started seeing these kinds of videos that you're about to see here, where eagles were attacking very large animals. I've never seen anything like that before that. Here are some examples. This eagle here is pulling on this, I think it's a goat, not sure exactly, throws it off the cliff. Look at the impact there. I mean, that eagle slammed very hard into that cliff and he's fine. So I guess the idea here is he throws this animal off the cliff and then it falls down and it dies. Then he can eat it. That sounds somewhat plausible. That is a very large animal, though, and my old birds of prey would never be that careless with their own lives, their own wings. One damaged wing would be the end of them. But it gets more interesting. Here is an eagle attacking a bear. Now, I don't think this eagle can really think that he's going to be able to eat this bear, but he attacks him hard. So there's the bear. This eagle swoops in and pounds him. There's the slow-mo. So it's pretty impressive. I'm going to go back just a bit. I can catch it one more time in the fast motion. Slams it hard, very hard. Very interesting. I've never seen anything like that. This is actually a very new video I just found today. This one's a little older. I'm only going to show a partial of it. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but basically this eagle has come up and attacked, I believe these are mountain goats, and clutched onto a large goat and is rolling down the hill with it. Now, again, in my old timeline, the wings were too fragile. This bird would be busted up, but right now in this video, he rolls down the cliff with this goat, the goat slamming against him, and apparently he's fine. So there he gets slammed against a rock. He's voluntarily holding on to this goat, and he goes down the hill with the goat. There is repeated thrashings. This eagle should be broken into 10 parts in my old timeline, but in this timeline, they're incredibly amazing creatures. He goes all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to play the whole thing, but basically the goat does get away in this one. The eagle appears to be fine at the end of it. Now, this one is the one I saw about 2-3 years ago that most amazed me. Similar to the other ones, but he actually carries the goat off in this one. He's going to actually carry this huge thing. There was no way that an eagle could carry such a huge creature in my old timeline, but here he flies off with it. And I think I thought it was fake, but I looked into it quite a few times, and supposedly this is a real video, and that eagles can really do this now. So I thought this was interesting a couple years ago, but I didn't think it was really relevant to my life. And then about 1 year ago, I saw this. Fear descends over Australia as magpie swooping season begins. Now, at first, I thought this was a tongue-in-cheek kind of a title, kind of clickbaity. But no, apparently these attacks are quite serious. Now, I've never heard of this before. I've never heard of birds attacking seriously on humans like this. But apparently it's magpie swooping season in Australia once a year. Victims of the attacks update online maps with nest locations in order to warn others of the dangers from above. So these birds swoop down, and people walking by or riding their bicycle by are attacked viciously with the talons. When heading into a swoop zone, generations of school children, including this reporter, wore empty plastic ice cream buckets as hats with crude eyes drawn on. The point of the eyes was to try to fool the bird into thinking that you were looking at it. Here's a little bit of video of somebody getting attacked. So this bird is hitting hard with the claws, and that's why the camera moves every time he hits, because he's slamming it. This guy has a helmet on, and that's why he's not injured. But there are apparently many tactics to try to prevent these birds from injuring you. And they're saying that people have lost eyes, they've had bloody gashes, all kinds of injuries have happened during this swooping season in Australia by these nasty magpies. Also, the plumage on these magpies continues to change. When I first saw them, it was just the white on the wings, but now they have this white strip along the back. So those birds continue to evolve. Here's another video of somebody. This magpie is attacking him. He's got a full helmet on, so he's reasonably protected, although sometimes they can draw blood around the neck as well. But they tend to target the eyes. And this bird has just flown up and pecked at the eyes here. Well, basically, he's trying to get this guy's eye and head as he bicycles away. They're quite vicious, these birds. All right, so they have a map area here where they map dangerous fly zones of these magpies. And you can see that they're, I guess, mostly clustered in certain regions. They also can fill in here whether they were injured. So these guys were not injured. This one, minor cut on the ear. This person here, my eye is now red, but luckily not severely damaged. He got hit in the eye, but no severe damage. Drew blood and almost caused a crash. So these things are nasty, these little birds. All right, so I didn't really think that this still had much to do with me at the time when I saw this last year, but about a week ago, I think 2 weeks ago, I saw this one on Reddit. Nesting hawks are dive bombing students in New Mexico. Now, New Mexico is in the United States, so now I'm starting to pay attention. So what they're saying is, and all of these birds here with the magpie attacks as well as these hawks, they're saying that they're protecting their nests. So they nest in the same place every year and they attack everybody in the area during that season. So now it seems like it's spreading now to hawks in the United States, because they're saying here that students in New Mexico State have been advised to avoid a part of campus where a family of hawks is currently nesting. The hawks are dive bombing passersby who dare near the nesting spot. But these birds are, again, they're drawing blood. They're not just little harmless heckling that I am accustomed to. Now, in my old timeline, we did have mockingbirds that would fly around you, attempt to distract you away from their nest during nesting season. But they did not actually draw blood or really aim for the eyes. They would just flutter around. I have noticed that those birds have gotten more bold in recent years. About 2 years ago, one actually landed on my shoulder, attempting to distract me. They would have never been that cheeky in the past. But here, there's describing the attack of this hawk. Just out of nowhere, I got hit in the back of the head. I couldn't believe it at first. I didn't think it could be a bird. William said the blow was so powerful that she jolted forward. The attack left her with a slash across her face. At least 5 people have visited the campus health center in recent weeks after being attacked by the birds of prey. Most patients had small cuts or abrasions on their head, and one patient was struck hard enough that he had mild post-concussion symptoms. University officials said the family of Swainson's hawks do not pose a serious threat and encourage students and faculty to avoid the grounds surrounding the nest. So somebody got slashed in the face and someone got a mild concussion, but these birds do not pose a serious threat. Seems a little bit confusing to me. These airborne assaults may come as no surprise to bird enthusiasts. After all, predatory fowl are known to be very protective over their young. Earlier this year, two red-shouldered hawks dive-bombed several library patrons in Port Orange, Florida, after nesting in a nearby tree. You know what? This just never happened in my old time. Hawks did not attack people who were just minding their own business. Hawks made efforts to nest far away from humans. They did not nest right above humans' libraries and attack them. So this is getting a little bit more serious and close to home for me now. We have hawks everywhere around here. Okay, here is an image of the signs they put up at that college. Pay attention, be aware of hawks, watch for hawks, use an umbrella. So they're putting up signs now about the dangers of hawks. Okay, now here's another one. This one actually happened in Charleston, England. So you guys in England are not safe. This dude was attacked by a hawk on his run. Here's the damage. Now this scratch goes all the way across the top of his head here. This is not just one little poke and then bleeding. This is the full length of the scratch covers his head. So according to experts, the gashes in Llewellyn's head were about 6 inches long and caused by a 1.5-pound Harris hawk. So he was minding his own business and he got attacked by this hawk. Very interesting. So I didn't even know they had Harris hawks in England, actually. We have them here. And interesting that they have gotten all the way to England as well as here. I'm not an expert at hawks in England. I just know that we've had them here. All right, so England is not safe. Now, I just kind of did a quick Google, hawks attack humans, and it's everywhere online. Two red-shouldered hawks have been attacking people in Cortez Villas. Hawks attacking people outside Port Orange. Man attacked by hawk, Lakeville. This one's an interesting. This one was taken into custody. Man attacks hawk, taken into custody. Apparently, he was attacking this man quite badly, and he was attacking everybody, and they decided that hawk was too dangerous, and they took it into custody. And if you go over to the YouTube, there's all these people saying that you should not fight back against hawks or do anything because the hawks were here first. So very interesting. Again, red-tailed hawk attacks. All the hawks apparently are dangerous now. I'm seeing all different kinds of hawks doing the attack. Now this guy here, he got attacked, and he has all these, like 15, I think it was, stitches on his eye right here. Mother hawk attacks man and taken into custody. That's that same link from before. What's interesting is, so what they did was they took the hawk into custody, and then they gave the chicks to other hawks, and they said the other hawks will just take care of the chicks as if they were their own. So then the hawk will be re-released after a few days, and without a nest will probably not attack people, is the storyline. So, I mean, it seems somewhat reasonable to me because I guess this area is very populated and this hawk was doing considerable damage. But there's a whole bunch of posts here that humans are so cruel, stealing the hawk's babies, etc., etc. One interesting thing about this, all of these storylines, is that all of these birds that are attacking are considered protected species. And so they're saying that humans are not allowed to fight back. You can only try to protect yourself, but you can't actually return fire in any way because it's completely illegal. So then, of course, I had to check if it was happening locally, and yes, indeed. San Diego family attacked by hawks, man scalped, ripped open in avian assault. A San Diego area doctor says he's a prisoner in his own home, attacked repeatedly by hawks. So apparently these hawks have taken residence in his backyard. Talons ripped through his scalp, leaving a 5-inch long bloody gash. That was just the first attack. In the next 10 days, there would be 2 more. Now he says he's afraid for his 2-year-old son. He asked authorities to remove the hawk, but they said there were restrictions. Now he's considering taking actions into his own hands. They said they couldn't do anything about it. I've never owned or shot a gun before, but I did have thoughts when this happened. An individual under this act, which is the Migratory Bird Act, If caught trying to move a nest, trap a bird, or kill one, is liable for a felony and up to $100,000 fine and time in jail, said Dennis Disharoon of West Coast Sky Falconry. So it's a felony, really. It's a felony to if you fought back against these birds. There's a high likelihood the bird will return to the same nest the next year. In fact, she says the hawk could return for the next 7 years. So very interesting change of events with these birds attacking. I have noticed in the last few years that, like for instance, there was a hawk standing in my driveway, and I walked towards it, and it did not move. And in my old timeline, it would have flown away right away. I actually thought it was injured. I was concerned for it. So I tried to approach slowly, thinking maybe I could catch it. And since I assumed it was injured, I would bring it to a facility that could take care of it. But then it just flew away when I finally got very, very close, and it seemed to be fine. Very unusual behavior that very much perplexed me at the time. This was just a little bit before I knew about the Mandela Effect, so I wasn't putting two and two together at the time. But anyways, yes, I think that we all are going to need to be a lot more careful about this situation with the birds attacking. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.